The stars were quiet in the Zalorian frontier. Space was dark and empty, and the patrol fleet moved carefully among the distant suns. Commander Varric watched the sensors, his eyes scanning the displays. He had been on many patrols, but nothing in his career prepared him for what he saw now. An object had appeared on the long-range scanner. It moved fast, coming from hyperspace, but it was not like anything the Zalorians had ever seen. The warship was large, dark, and heavy. Its shape was strange, with angles that made no sense. Its hull radiated power, energy levels far higher than any known Zalorian ship. "Commander, you should see this," said Lieutenant Kor, the ship's chief analyst. His voice was tight, nervous. "Scans are not giving us full readings. This vessel is different. It doesn't match any known blueprint. Its shields are unusual. Its energy signature, it's off the charts." Varric leaned over the console. He could feel the tension in the bridge. Other officers whispered to each other. Some tried to run. More scans, but every signal bounced off, blocked by a force they could not understand. "What do we do?" asked a young officer, trembling. Varric shook his head. "We observe. Do not approach too close. This is not like any ship we have met before." In the cold silence of space, the unknown ship continued to drift. It did not respond to any hails or signals. The Zalorian fleet began to feel uneasy. There was no answer, only a dark shape moving silently among the stars. Inside the mysterious vessel, it was very different. The human warship was sleek and quiet. Captain Laura Hayes stood on the bridge, calm and focused. Around her, the crew moved with discipline. Every human knew what to do. "Scans show multiple alien ships," said Lieutenant Ryan Carter. "They have weapons ready. Their shields are strong. They are watching us." Laura nodded. "We do not want a fight. Keep weapons offline. Observe only." She paused, looking at the stars beyond the viewport. "Let them make the first move. We will not start anything." The humans on the ship were part of a special fleet, one that had been lost years before during the Centauri conflict. Their ship, the USS Eclipse, had been missing. Now they had returned. No one in this part of space had ever seen humans before. They were unknown, and their technology was far beyond what most civilizations could imagine. Back in the Zalorian fleet, panic was growing. Admiral Corrin, the commander of the frontier sector, had been alerted. He moved to the central bridge of his flagship. His eyes widened as he saw the energy readings from the unknown ship. "This cannot be," he muttered. "These readings, it is impossible. No ship can carry this much energy. This is not just a warship, it is something else." He ordered his fleet to form a defensive formation. The patrol cruisers and battle frigates positioned themselves around the unknown ship, ready to respond. "Send hails again," he commanded. "Identify yourselves. Do not move closer until they respond." Lieutenant Kor stepped forward. "Admiral, the ship is not transmitting anything. All our communications are blocked. It does not answer." Corrin clenched his fists. "Then we prepare for action. Their silence is a threat. We cannot risk letting them continue unchecked. Prepare warning shots." In space, the tension was thick. The human crew on the USS Eclipse watched silently as the alien fleet maneuvered. Their sensors showed every movement of the Zalorian ships. Nothing escaped their eyes. "Captain, they are preparing weapons," Ryan said. "We are being observed carefully. Any movement could trigger an attack." Laura stayed calm. "Maintain position. Do not fire. Keep shields ready, but remain passive. We will not provoke them." Hours passed. The aliens scanned, shifted positions, and sent encrypted messages that made no sense to the humans. Captain Hayes ordered her crew to continue observation, recording every detail. They had studied alien communication before. They could translate most languages, but this one was entirely new. In the Zalorian fleet, frustration was growing. Admiral Corrin could not understand why the unknown ship did not respond. Its silence seemed like arrogance, like it was daring them to act. "Prepare a warning shot," he finally ordered. "Target the lead human vessel. Make it clear we demand identification." The first plasma bolt fired from the cruiser and streaked across space. The human crew watched, but their ship did not move. The bolt hit the shield and barely flickered. It made no damage to the hull. "Shields are holding," Lieutenant Sam Rogers said. He was the engineer. "No damage reported. The energy absorption is higher than expected." Laura spoke quietly. "This confirms what we suspected. They do not understand what they face. Let them feel cautious, not scared. Maintain observation. Keep weapons offline." Admiral Corrin watched the screens. His fleet was ready to fire again, but the first warning shot had failed. He felt a cold worry in his chest. He had never faced a ship like this. He could not read their signals, and he could not break through their defenses. The human crew worked in silence. Laura gave orders with calm authority. Every officer and sailor followed her instructions. The crew knew that one wrong move could trigger a battle they did not want. "Sensors are picking up energy surges from their engines," Ryan said. "They could escape any time if they choose, or they could strike back. It is unclear." Laura nodded. "We are ready for either. Watch carefully. Record everything. The galaxy needs to know what we find here." Time passed slowly. The stars moved as the fleets held their positions. Finally, Admiral Corrin sent another set of hails, stronger this time. "Unknown vessel, identify yourselves. You are in our space. Respond immediately." The USS Eclipse remained silent. Laura spoke to her crew. "Do not respond. Let them wonder who we are. Let them feel the unknown. Patience is a weapon, sometimes stronger than fire." The alien fleet began to move in formation, surrounding the human ship. Corrin's voice came through the fleet channel. "We will not wait forever. They think they are ghosts, but we will make them act." On the human bridge, Julia Price, the tactical officer, watched the aliens. "Captain, they are positioning to attack. Their weapons are charging." Laura did not panic. "Let them. We have shields. We have weapons ready, but we fire only if fired upon. Do not give them an excuse. Stay calm." Admiral Corrin felt the tension rising. His fleet had never seen a ship behave like this. No identification, no response, no fear. His officers whispered nervously. Some suggested retreat, but Corrin could not allow that. He had to assert control over the sector. The unknown human ship floated silently, ready for any move. Its crew was prepared, calm, and disciplined. They were humans, and they had a reputation for surviving impossible odds. Finally, a small probe shot from the human ship, invisible to the naked eye. It scanned the Zalorian fleet carefully, collecting data. Julia Price reported quietly, "Probe deployed. We are gathering intelligence. They will not see us coming." Corrin's fleet did not notice the small probe. They were too focused on the threat in front of them. But the probe sent information back to the human ship, and every weapon system, shield, and movement in the Zalorian fleet was now known to the humans. Laura looked at the report. "Everything they have is noted. We know their strength, their numbers, their weakness. They think they control this encounter, but they do not understand humans." The stars around them were silent witnesses. The unknown warship floated, and the humans inside prepared quietly. They had not fired a single weapon, but already they had control over the battlefield. In the Zalorian command, worry grew. Corrin could not understand why the unknown ship had not attacked. "They are too confident, too strange. This is not a normal enemy." "Admiral," said one of his officers, "their shields are unlike anything we have seen. One direct hit could destroy half our fleet. We must consider retreat." Corrin clenched his jaw. "No, we will hold position, but we must be careful. Observe but do not provoke. Their silence may be a trap." On the human bridge, Laura looked at the stars and spoke quietly. "This is only the beginning. They will learn soon enough that humans do not back down. But for now, we wait. Let them see what patience can do." Hours passed. The tension continued. The human ship moved slowly, keeping distance but observing every alien maneuver. The unknown warship's silence became a shadow over the Zalorian fleet. The first part of the encounter was over, but the story was only beginning. One thing was clear. The humans had returned and space would never be the same again. The USS Eclipse drifted in silence, powerful, calm, and unknown. And somewhere in the stars, the Zilorians whispered, "What is this human ship? It is like nothing we have ever seen before." Oh, the unknown warship hung in space like a shadow. The Zilorian fleet continued to watch it, unsure what it would do next. Commander Varek's patrol cruisers shifted nervously. Every officer on the bridge could feel the tension. No one had ever faced a ship like this before. Admiral Corrin sat on the command chair of his flagship, staring at the readings. "It remains silent," he said, his voice low. "No signals, no identification, no movement that I can understand." "What is it hiding?" Lieutenant Corr stepped forward. "Admiral, I have checked again. Its shields are not normal. The energy flows in patterns we do not recognize. Its engines are silent to all detection. It seems almost untouchable." Varek frowned. "This is a serious threat. It may not have attacked yet, but we cannot let it stay here. It could destroy our fleet before we know it." Corrin's jaw tightened. "Prepare hails again. Tell them to identify themselves. We cannot wait forever. If they are hostile, we must act first." Meanwhile, on the human ship, the bridge was calm. Captain Laura Hayes observed the alien fleet through the view screen. The crew worked in quiet efficiency. No one spoke unless necessary. Every human knew their role. "Captain," said Lieutenant Ryan Carter, "the Zilorians are moving their ships closer. They are scanning aggressively. Weapons are charging." Laura nodded. "Do not fire. Stay ready but passive. They are making mistakes by moving too close. We do not want to fight yet." Lieutenant Julia Price added, "Captain, their fleet is tense. They do not know what we can do." "They may strike if they feel threatened." Laura's eyes narrowed. "Let them feel threatened. But we control the encounter. No weapons until we must defend ourselves. Remember, they see us as unknown. They do not understand humans. That is our advantage." Back in the Zilorian fleet, the officers whispered to each other. Some wanted to fire immediately, but Admiral Corrin remained cautious. He understood that attacking blindly could be disastrous. "Prepare a warning shot," he finally ordered. One plasma volley, just enough to make them respond. "Target the lead ship." The warning shot streaked across space. It struck the human ship's shield, but the shield held without issue. The humans hardly noticed the impact. "Shields are fine," said Sam Rogers, the engineer. "No damage." "Nothing penetrated." Laura's voice was calm. "Good. Let them see that attacks have no effect. Maintain position. Let them waste energy while we observe. This is a learning moment." The Zilorian officers were shocked. One small warning shot had no effect at all. The unknown ship remained completely unharmed. Some whispered of weapons far beyond their understanding. Others feared this ship was not even a normal living crew. It seemed like a ghost of war, a weapon without weakness. Admiral Corrin's face was stern. "Send more hails. Tell them to respond. If they ignore us again, we may have no choice but to attack fully." The humans did not respond. Captain Laura watched carefully. No response. "That is perfect. Let them wonder what we are. The unknown makes them cautious, and caution is a weapon." The alien ships began to shift position. They moved around the human ship, surrounding it in a loose formation. Their weapons glowed, ready to fire. Some of their faster vessels flanked the unknown ship, trying to find a weakness. Julia Price studied their movements. "Captain, they are probing. They are looking for vulnerabilities. Their sensors are strong, but they cannot penetrate our shields." Laura nodded. "Good, let them continue. Every move they make is information for us. Record everything. We need full data on their fleet. Their weapons, shields, and engines, everything." The hours passed slowly. The Zilorian fleet was nervous, unsure how to act. Every officer on every ship debated what to do. Some believed the unknown ship was harmless, while others feared it could destroy them all. Finally, the aliens fired another warning shot. This time, multiple plasma bolts streaked toward the human vessel. The shields flared brightly as the shots were absorbed, each one failing to break the hull. "Impact absorbed," Sam Rogers reported. "No damage. Shield stable. Let them waste their energy," Laura said softly. "Patience is stronger than force in this moment." Admiral Corrin felt growing anger. His officers whispered again. "It is not possible," one said. "They cannot have shields like this. One hit should destroy them." Corrin's face grew pale. "They are humans," he said quietly. I do not understand how humans survive. But they will answer eventually, or we will force them to. The human ship floated silently, collecting data on the alien fleet. Every ship, every weapon, every movement was noted. Julia Price worked quickly. We have all their weapon types. We know their maximum firing range. We can predict their patterns, Laura nodded. Excellent. Keep scanning. We are still passive. Only defend if fired upon directly again. Let them believe they have the advantage. They do not. The Zalorian fleet began to feel fear. News of the unknown warship spread through their communication networks. Other sectors watched with worry. No one had ever faced a ship like this, and reports described it as impossible. Meanwhile, a single Zalorian frigate attempted to close distance with the human ship. It fired a plasma burst directly at the hull. The shield absorbed it easily. The frigate shook under the energy feedback, forcing it to retreat slightly. On the human bridge, Laura said quietly, "They do not yet know what humans can do. Keep it that way." The alien fleet sent new hails. Their messages were urgent, demanding identification. The humans ignored them. Laura believed the silence would teach the aliens caution. Some of the Zalorian ships began to pull back slightly. They realized their attacks did not work. They had never seen shields like this, nor a ship that ignored their hails. Fear began to spread among their ranks. Admiral Corrin's face was pale. "They are not responding," he said. "It is impossible. Their ship, it is untouchable. If we attack further, we could lose everything." In the human ship, Lieutenant Ryan Carter observed the fleet. "Captain, they are afraid now. Their formations are tighter. Some ships are holding back." Laura smiled faintly. "Exactly. Fear is a tool. Let them feel it. But remember, we are not here to destroy, only to protect ourselves." The alien officers whispered among themselves. "This is no ordinary enemy," one said. "One attack and we are unharmed. Their shields are strong, their weapons are unknown. We must proceed carefully." Hours passed and the human ship collected all available data. The crew was calm, patient, and ready. They moved only when necessary, their silence and discipline increasing the aliens' fear. Finally, a small Zalorian destroyer fired a more powerful volley. The plasma bolt slammed into the human shields and the energy flared brightly. The shield absorbed everything, flashing like a star in the void. The destroyer shook violently from the feedback and fell back. Laura's voice was calm. "We have their strength recorded. Their maximum firepower is known. Do not fire. Patience will serve us better than a single shot." Julia Price nodded. "We know their fleet strength and weaknesses. We can predict any move now. They do not know what humans can do yet." Admiral Corrin's face turned red. He had no choice but to order his fleet to hold position. He realized that this unknown human ship was not just a threat. It was something beyond understanding. "Hold your positions," he said. "Do not approach further. Observe only. Their power is greater than anything we imagined." On the human ship, Laura looked out at the alien fleet. "This is only the first encounter," she said softly. "They will learn to fear humans. They will know we are not easy to fight. But we did not fire first. That is important. Humans do not start wars. We defend and we survive." The stars were quiet again except for the hum of the human ship. Its crew was calm, disciplined, and ready. They had not fired a single weapon, but already they controlled the encounter. Admiral Corrin could only watch, helpless. He had never seen such a ship, such shields, or such calm in the face of his fleet. Fear began to spread through his ranks. He realized that this unknown warship might be the beginning of something new, something dangerous. The unknown human warship drifted silently in space. It had not attacked. It had not destroyed. Yet the Zalorians knew one thing clearly. They could not underestimate it. And somewhere on the human ship, Captain Laura Hayes smiled faintly. Humans were back in space. Humans were unknown. And humans were dangerous. The stars shone cold and distant above the Zalorian frontier. Space felt silent, but tension hung in every corner of the sector. The unknown warship hovered like a shadow, calm and quiet, while the Zalorian fleet moved cautiously around it. Admiral Corrin could feel the unease on his bridge. Officers whispered nervously to each other, comparing their reports. "It is impossible," one said. "Their shields. They absorb everything. Even the heaviest plasma rounds do not pierce them." Corrin rubbed his temples. He had never seen a ship like this. Its silence was unnerving, and its lack of response only increased the fear. "Hold position," he said. Do not fire unless absolutely necessary. Observe, but be ready for any action. Commander Varric looked at him. Admiral, their energy readings are growing. It is as if they are learning every time we attack. One more volley may provoke them, but they have not fired yet. They may not need to, Corrin sighed. He knew Varric was right. They could not underestimate this ship. He had seen fleets destroyed by unknown weapons before, but never had he faced an enemy that seemed untouchable and disciplined. On the bridge of the human ship, the crew remained calm. Captain Laura Hayes observed the alien fleet carefully. Every move of the Zalorian ships was recorded, analyzed, and stored. The humans were learning faster than the aliens could react. Captain, their weapons are charging again, said Lieutenant Ryan Carter. They may fire another volley, Laura nodded. Let them. They will waste energy. Prepare shields and defensive systems. We respond only if necessary. Record everything. Their every weakness will be known. Lieutenant Julia Price checked the tactical displays. Captain, the fleet is forming a tighter pattern. They are nervous. Their officers are unsure. We can see hesitation in their maneuvers. Laura smiled faintly. Good, fear is a weapon too. Let them think they have control. But we know their limits. Let them take the first step if they dare. Admiral Corrin gave another order. Fire a full barrage at their forward shields. Let them see our strength. If they do not respond, we will follow with another attack. On the human ship, Sam Rogers, the chief engineer, monitored the incoming energy. Shields are holding. Full power distribution is stable. Nothing has penetrated. They cannot harm us with these attacks. Laura spoke quietly. Prepare a minimal defensive strike. Just enough to remind them that we can respond if needed. Do not escalate beyond that. The humans fired a single railgun round. It cut through the vacuum of space and struck the lead Zalorian cruiser. The ship split apart, but strangely, it did not explode. The railgun had destroyed the structural integrity without causing massive damage. The Zalorian officers gasped. No one could believe what they saw. One shot and a cruiser was gone. The fleet went silent. Admiral Corrin felt a chill. What kind of ship is this? He whispered. The humans did not celebrate. Captain Laura remained calm. They will understand soon enough, she said. This is all they need to learn. We defend, we survive, and we teach caution. Nothing more. The Zalorian fleet scrambled. Some ships tried to move closer while others held position, unsure of what to do. The unknown human warship had demonstrated power beyond anything they had imagined. Julia Price noted the fleet's reactions. Captain, they are confused. Some ships are retreating slightly. Their command is unsure how to act. We can predict their next moves easily now. Laura nodded. Excellent. Let them retreat. Fear is more effective than weapons. But stay ready. We may need to act if they attack again. Admiral Corrin tried to rally his officers. Do not panic, he said. We hold formation, observe, report every movement. They may be humans, but we can learn from this encounter. Prepare for their next strike. They may retaliate. The unknown ship remained calm, floating silently. The human crew worked with precision. Every scanner, every weapon system, every sensor was active, but nothing moved unless necessary. They had learned from the Centauri conflict. Humans survived when they stayed disciplined. Ryan Carter observed the fleet. Captain, they are regrouping. They may attempt another strike, but they are hesitant. They are afraid of our unknown responses. Laura smiled. They should be. Fear is part of survival, but we are not here to destroy them completely, only to defend ourselves. Every move must be measured. The Zalorian fleet fired again, sending multiple plasma volleys at the human ship. The shields flared brightly, absorbing the energy. Nothing penetrated. Several smaller vessels were forced back by the energy feedback. Impact absorbed, Sam Rogers said. Shields holding. No damage reported. Julia Price studied the alien fleet carefully. Captain, we now know their patterns. We can anticipate each attack before it happens. Their speed, firing range, and formations are predictable. We have an advantage, Laura nodded. Good, hold position. Let them waste their energy. We only act if necessary. Humans defend, humans survive. That is the lesson they must learn, the Zalorian fleet whispered among themselves. Officers debated whether to retreat or continue the attack. Fear was spreading quickly. No one wanted to be the next ship destroyed by a single railgun shot. Admiral Corrin's face turned red with frustration. This is impossible. One unknown ship has neutralized our attacks and destroyed a cruiser. How can this be? They are humans, but their technology, it is beyond understanding. Varric approached him. Admiral, I suggest we hold position. Observe only. Retreat may be seen as cowardice, but a full attack could destroy our fleet. They are stronger than any ship we have faced. Corrin clenched his fists. You are right, we hold. But we must continue observing. We cannot allow them to move freely in our space. Every move they make must be recorded. We must learn what we can from this encounter. On the human ship, Laura watched the alien fleet carefully. They will learn soon enough that humans are not to be underestimated, she said softly. They attacked first, but we defended. That is the difference. Humans survive, and we do not start wars without reason. Ryan Carter checked the sensors again. Captain, their weapons are still charging. They may strike again, but they are slow. Fear has slowed their reaction time. Laura smiled faintly. Good, let them hesitate. Hesitation is power. Humans survive because we are disciplined and patient. Every action counts. Let them make mistakes while we observe. The Zalorian fleet was uneasy. They had never encountered a species like this before. Reports of the unknown ship spread quickly through their communications network. Officers in other sectors whispered to each other. Have you seen the humans? They are different. One shot destroyed a cruiser. They are untouchable. We cannot attack them without risking our fleet. Admiral Corrin tried to calm his officers. Stay disciplined. We observe. Do not panic, but be ready. This is only the first encounter. They may be humans, but we cannot underestimate them. The human ship drifted silently. Every move of the Zalorian fleet was recorded. Every attack, every formation, every change in position was logged. The humans were learning faster than the aliens could react. Julia Price spoke quietly to the captain. Captain, we have complete data on their fleet. Their weapons, shields, speed, and formations are known. We can predict their next moves. They do not know what we can do yet. Laura nodded. Excellent. Keep monitoring. Patience is our weapon. Defense is our strength. Humans survive, and humans teach others to respect them. Nothing more is needed now. The stars were quiet again except for the hum of the human ship. It remained calm, disciplined, and ready. The Zalorian fleet for the first time felt fear. They had not been destroyed yet, but one single strike from this unknown ship had already changed everything. Admiral Corrin could only watch helplessly. He had never seen such technology, such discipline, or such calm in the face of his fleet. Fear spread quickly among his officers. One thing was certain. This human ship was different, powerful, and dangerous. The unknown human warship floated silently in space. It had not fired more than one shot, but already it controlled the encounter. It had defended, observed, and shown power without aggression. Captain Laura Hayes stood at the viewport looking at the distant stars. She spoke softly to herself. This is only the beginning. They will learn that humans do not back down. But we did not start the war. We only defended ourselves. That is the difference. And in the dark space of the Zalorian frontier, the officers whispered, fearful and confused. What are these humans? One ship, one strike, and yet they are calm. We cannot underestimate them. They are dangerous. The USS Eclipse drifted silently, powerful and unknown. It had not attacked recklessly. It had not destroyed without reason. But already the Zalorian fleet had learned that humans were different. Humans were disciplined. Humans were deadly when forced to defend. The stars watched silently. Space seemed colder, quieter, and more dangerous than before. The humans were back, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. The unknown human warship moved slowly through the outer edge of the Zalorian frontier. The USS Eclipse remained calm, collecting data and observing the alien fleet. Every movement of the Zalorian ships, every weapon system, and every tactical maneuver was recorded. The humans were quiet, disciplined, and patient. Far across the Empire, news of the encounter spread quickly. Word reached the Central Council of the Zalorian Empire. Advisors whispered urgently in every chamber. An unknown ship appeared, one said. Its shields are impenetrable. Its weapons destroyed one of our cruisers with a single shot. We cannot understand it. Counselor Theron slammed his hand on the table. Impossible. One ship, and yet it humiliated our fleet? Our patrols report no damage to the human vessel despite multiple attacks. How can this be? Another counselor, Lyra, spoke carefully. We must not panic. Perhaps it is a small, isolated fleet. Or maybe it is a ghost ship, a remnant from the old wars. We should investigate further before sending our main forces. But fear had already spread. Every sector commander received the same report. A single human ship had destroyed a cruiser and remained untouched. Whispers grew into panic. Officers debated whether to continue offensive patrols or retreat to safer sectors. Admiral Corrin's fleet remained near the frontier, holding position. He could feel the fear among his officers. Every cruiser and frigate was tense. No one wanted to move closer to the unknown ship. Even minor missteps could trigger disaster. On the USS Eclipse, Captain Laura Hayes studied the alien fleet carefully. They are afraid, she said quietly to her tactical officer Julia Price. They do not know what we can do, but they sense it. Their fear is useful. We do not attack. We observe. Let them make mistakes. Julia nodded. Captain, we can see hesitation in their movements. Some ships are retreating slowly. Others are holding back, unsure of their next move. Good, Laura said softly. Patience is stronger than weapons. Humans survive because we wait, calculate, and strike only when necessary. They will learn this lesson soon enough. Back at the council in the Zalorian capital, debates grew heated. Councillor Theron demanded a strike force. We cannot leave. Such a dangerous ship in our frontier. Send every available cruiser and destroyer. We must attack. Lyra disagreed. If we attack, we risk total destruction. One ship survived multiple volleys without damage. We must understand before we act. Retreat and observation are wiser than reckless attack. The council remained divided. The fear of humans spread beyond the fleet into politics and planning. Every officer, commander, and counselor debated strategies, but no one could agree. Humans had arrived, and no one knew how to face them. Meanwhile, in orbit near the frontier, the human ship continued its silent observation. Lieutenant Ryan Carter monitored alien communications. Captain, the aliens are scrambling. They are sending messages, but none of them make sense. Panic is spreading through their fleets. Laura smiled faintly. Good. Let them feel it. Fear is a teacher. They attacked first, but now they are learning the cost of their actions. Observe. Do not fire. We defend, but we do not destroy without cause. Julia Price added, Captain, multiple fleets are retreating to safer positions. Their leaders are consulting via comm networks. They are afraid. They know we can strike at any moment. Laura nodded. Let them fear. They should know humans are not easy to fight. But remember, our goal is observation, not conquest. Humans survive because we are careful, disciplined, and patient. In the Zalorian Empire, Admiral Corrin's reports reached the High Command. One human ship, he said to his superiors. It destroyed a cruiser with a single strike. Our volleys had no effect. Their shields are stronger than anything we know. Their weapons, I cannot explain them. The officers are afraid and some are considering retreat. A senior commander, Counselor Lyra, spoke cautiously. This is no ordinary enemy. The humans are unknown. Their technology is advanced and their discipline is unmatched. We must proceed with care. Any rash action could destroy our fleets. Fear spread through the frontier. Smaller patrols began reporting hesitation in their ranks. Officers whispered of the dangerous human ship. Even distant sectors started preparing for the possibility of encounter. No one underestimated humans anymore. Back on the USS Eclipse, the human crew continued to record every detail. The ship's sensors captured the alien formations, weapon types, shield structures, and fleet patterns. Julia Price spoke quietly to Laura. Captain, we have a full record of their fleet. We can predict their next move. They do not know that we know. Laura smiled faintly. Good. Knowledge is power. They believe they are the hunters, but in reality they are observed. Humans survive because we understand, plan, and strike only when necessary. In the alien fleets, Admiral Corrin could sense the tension. Some ships were holding back, others began retreating slowly. Officers whispered to each other, debating the best course. We cannot attack, one said. We do not know what they can do. We must wait. Corin tried to maintain control. We hold formation. Observe only. Send reports. Do not engage unless forced. This is a human we are dealing with. Patience and caution are our only options. The USS Eclipse drifted silently in space. Its crew was calm, ready, and disciplined. They had not fired more than one strike, but their presence alone had altered the behavior of an entire alien empire. Laura watched the frontier carefully. "They fear us," she said quietly. "That is good. But fear alone is not enough. We will continue to observe, collect data, and remain ready. Humans survive because we are patient, disciplined, and always prepared." Julia Price nodded. "Captain, the alien fleets are sending more hails, asking questions, demanding identification. Their messages are urgent and nervous. They are trying to communicate, but fear slows their decisions." Laura replied, "Do not respond yet. Let them wonder. Silence is a tool. Let them question their own strength. They will learn more from our patience than from any battle." In the central command of the Zalorian Empire, panic spread. Reports of the human ship reached every corner. Fleet commanders, patrol leaders, and council members whispered among themselves. "One ship destroyed a cruiser," an officer said. "No response to our attacks. We cannot comprehend their power. They are dangerous." Admiral Corin struggled to maintain order. He sent repeated messages to the council, describing the unknown ship, its power, and the fear among his officers. The council debated endlessly. Some demanded immediate attack. Others urged caution. Fear and confusion ruled. Meanwhile, the human ship continued its silent observation. Every weapon system was ready, but no one fired unnecessarily. Captain Laura walked slowly along the bridge, observing her crew. They moved with calm precision. Humans survived because they remained disciplined and patient. Ryan Carter spoke quietly. "Captain, the aliens are reorganizing. Some ships are retreating to safer positions. Others are still watching, unsure what to do." Laura nodded. "Good. Let them fear us. They attacked first, but we defended. That is all. Humans survive because we understand, act carefully, and remain ready for any situation. They will remember this encounter." Hours passed. The human ship remained calm. The alien fleets shifted nervously, unsure whether to advance or retreat. Fear had taken root across the frontier. Humans were unknown, powerful, and disciplined. Admiral Corin could only watch helplessly. He realized that the human presence had changed everything. One ship, silent and disciplined, had demonstrated power beyond comprehension. His fleet remained in position, observing, but afraid to act. In the USS Eclipse, Captain Laura spoke softly to her crew. "This is what humans do. We survive, we observe, and we teach others to respect our presence. We do not start wars without reason, but we defend, and we survive." The stars watched silently. Space seemed darker, colder, and more dangerous than before. The humans were back, and their arrival had changed the behavior of an entire alien empire. Somewhere in the Zalorian Empire, whispers spread. "The humans. One ship. They are untouchable. We cannot fight them. We must be cautious. They are dangerous." The USS Eclipse drifted silently through space, powerful, disciplined, and unknown. It had not attacked recklessly, yet its presence alone had altered the entire frontier. Fear spread among the Zalorian fleets, and humans were no longer underestimated. Captain Laura Hayes stood at the viewport, looking at the stars. She spoke quietly to herself. "They will learn. Humans do not back down. We did not start the war. We only defend ourselves, and they will remember this lesson." The frontier remained quiet, but the echoes of fear spread throughout the empire. One ship had changed everything. The humans had returned, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. The human warship drifted silently near the edge of the frontier. The USS Eclipse had spent hours observing the Zalorian fleet. collecting data and studying their movements. Every officer on the human ship knew the rules. They did not attack without reason. They defended. They survived. Far across the Zalorian Empire, the news of the encounter had reached the High Council. Panic had grown, fear had spread, and officers had whispered stories of the humans' power. The council debated endlessly about what to do next. One voice rose above the rest. "We must send an envoy," said Councillor Lyra. "One ship. Peaceful. We must understand these humans before we risk another conflict. Our fleets are unprepared. We cannot fight them blindly." The council agreed. A single white light cruiser was selected. Admiral Corrin was ordered to lead the envoy. His face was tense, his officers uneasy. No one had faced humans before. One ship had already destroyed a cruiser and held the entire fleet in fear. On the USS Eclipse, Captain Laura Hayes received the sensor's alert. A single ship moving slowly with lights bright and clean was approaching. Laura nodded calmly. "They come peacefully. Let us observe. Prepare the bridge. Maintain shields but keep weapons offline." Julia Price looked at the approaching cruiser. "Captain, they are sending standard communication signals. We can receive their messages. They are requesting a formal meeting." Laura smiled faintly. "Good. They finally understand caution. We will meet them." Humans survive because we know when to speak, when to act, and when to wait. In the Zalorian envoy ship, Admiral Corrin watched the human warship. "Keep shields active," he said. "Do not provoke them. Approach carefully. We must negotiate. They are powerful beyond reason." The human ship waited silently as the Zalorian cruiser moved into position. The white lights reflected softly off the Eclipse's hull. Every officer on the human bridge stood ready. A communication channel opened. The voice of Admiral Corrin was steady, but it carried an undercurrent of fear. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself. You have entered our space without permission. Explain your presence." Captain Laura Hayes stepped forward. Her voice was calm, firm, and without hesitation. "We are humans from Earth. We have returned to space after many years. We do not come to start wars. We come to observe and defend. You attacked first, and we defended ourselves. That is all." A silence followed. On the Zalorian bridge, the officers exchanged nervous glances. One whispered, "They speak calmly. No anger, no threat. Yet one ship destroyed a cruiser and held our fleets in fear. Who are these humans?" Admiral Corrin replied carefully. "We understand. We wish to discuss terms. We recognize your power. We mean no further harm. Let us talk." Captain Laura nodded. "Very well. Lower your weapons. Keep your shields active. We do not seek conflict. We only wish to ensure that our presence is understood and respected." On the Zalorian envoy, the crew lowered their weapons carefully. Fear was present, but respect had begun to replace it. They could not attack. They had seen the humans' power and discipline. One ship had demonstrated strength beyond their comprehension. Julia Price watched carefully. "Captain, they are cautious. They fear us, but they also wish to negotiate. This is a rare opportunity to ensure understanding." Laura nodded. "Exactly. Humans survive because we use knowledge, strategy, and patience. Let them see that we defend, but we do not attack without cause." Admiral Corrin's voice came again through the comm. "We wish to know your intentions. Why have you returned to this part of space? Your power is beyond any record we have." Laura's voice was steady. "We have returned to explore, to observe, and to ensure that our people are safe. Humans survive because we act carefully and with purpose. We do not seek to destroy others, but we will defend ourselves if necessary. That is our way." The Zalorian officers were silent. They had never heard such calm, measured speech from an enemy. They had faced threats before, but none like this. One ship had challenged their fleet without aggression, and now humans spoke with reason and discipline. Admiral Corrin nodded slowly. "We understand. We wish to maintain peace. Your power is unmatched. We will not interfere further. We request a treaty. Let this encounter remain peaceful." Captain Laura considered for a moment. "Very well. Humans survive because we know when to defend and when to make peace. We will accept a treaty. You will respect our space and we will respect yours. That is all." On the human bridge, the crew exchanged quiet nods. No weapons had been fired unnecessarily. No damage had been caused. Yet one ship had changed the behavior of an entire empire. Admiral Corrin's officers whispered among themselves. "They speak of peace, yet they are dangerous." One attack destroyed a cruiser and they remained calm. How can we trust them? Corin replied, we do not need to trust them fully. We only need to respect them. One ship has shown us the consequences of disrespect. That is enough. The human ship remained ready, shields active, weapons prepared, but none fired. Observation continued. Every move of the Zalorian envoy was recorded, studied, and understood. Humans survived because they were disciplined, patient, and aware. Finally, the formal treaty was sent. The Zalorians agreed not to enter human-controlled space without permission. Humans promised to observe, not interfere unless attacked. Fear and respect spread throughout the Empire. One ship, quiet, disciplined, and powerful, had altered the behavior of fleets, councils, and leaders. Julia Price looked at the captain. Captain, the treaty is complete. They now respect our presence. Fear has taught them discipline. Laura smiled. Good. Humans survive because we know when to act and when to wait. This encounter will be remembered. They will teach others caution, respect, and the consequences of underestimating humans. Across the Zalorian Empire, whispers spread. One human ship. Calm, disciplined, powerful. They are not to be challenged. Do not provoke them. Fleet commanders passed the message to all sectors. Humans had a new reputation. Untouchable, disciplined, and deadly when forced to defend. In the USS Eclipse, Captain Laura looked out at the stars. We did not start a war, she said softly. We defended ourselves. That is what humans do. We survive, we protect, and we ensure that others understand our strength without unnecessary bloodshed. Lieutenant Ryan Carter added, Captain, they will remember this. Every fleet, every officer, every council. They will think twice before entering human space uninvited. Laura nodded. Exactly. Humans survive because we know our limits, respect others, and defend when necessary. This encounter is over, but the lesson will remain. As the Zalorian envoy returned to the Empire, their officers whispered among themselves. Humans, one ship, and yet they controlled us. We cannot fight them. They are disciplined, patient, and deadly. The USS Eclipse continued on its course, quiet, calm, and prepared. Its crew remained disciplined, every officer aware of the stakes, but no unnecessary aggression occurred. They had achieved what humans had always done: survival, observation, and measured action. Admiral Corin sent a final message. Unknown vessel, you have shown us power and discipline beyond comprehension. We will respect your space. Your actions are recorded and will not be forgotten. Captain Laura Hayes replied simply, We accept your respect. Humans survive and humans teach through action and restraint. Remember this lesson well. The USS Eclipse turned and moved slowly into the darkness of space. It had not attacked recklessly. It had not destroyed without reason. Yet one ship had changed the behavior of an empire, the understanding of fleets, and the fear of officers. Across the frontier, whispers spread among the stars. If you see a human warship, do not engage. One ship is enough to change everything. Humans are disciplined, dangerous, and untouchable. Captain Laura stood by the viewport staring at the distant stars. She spoke softly to herself. We did not start a war. We only defended ourselves. And now humans will be remembered. That is enough. The USS Eclipse drifted silently, powerful, disciplined, and unknown. The humans had returned, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. One ship had entered the frontier, and one ship had taught the stars a simple truth. Humans survive, humans defend, and humans do not repeat the mistakes of others. The echo of that lesson spread across the galaxy. From fleet to fleet, from council to council, and from officer to officer, humans were dangerous. Humans were disciplined. Humans were untouchable. And the USS Eclipse continued, silent and powerful, a reminder to all who might forget that some forces in the universe could not be ignored.